Hi guys, I've been in the garden. It's funny because it's just been pouring down with rain, but me and Tina have been out there for well over an hour playing football. It's so good. And I have no choice now. I have to go out and play football with him. I love it anyway. It's adorable playing football with your 5-year-old boy.
Never know.
Sorry, I had to stop start. One of my kids, their front left tire's flat, so Dad's got to fix it. So few things, guys. Yeah, I've been playing with Tino, and we've got literally half an hour. We're going for our Mother's Day meal, of course. We're all going. I think it's at 4 o'clock. So Aurora wants to get some school clothes and shoes for Talia and Tino. So we're going to do that first. Go to Clark's. I don't know if you have Clark's in America, but in England we do. 25% of you are in England, 41% of you in America, loads of you in Australia, and we're all around the world, aren't we? Team Elvis. So I've just been digging a hole because the fence of the neighbours is leaning this way, and I thought that's going to fall over. So I dug a deep hole. I got this hole digger, and I stuck a big long branch, quite a long branch, 4 or 5 foot long. Filled it back in with mud. Me and Tina loved it, and that'll do for now. And then I think next week we're gonna buy 4 proper poles. I've got my hole digger, and I'll buy some concrete mix, and we'll do all 4 posts. Yeah. So anyway, that's for next week. Maybe we'll film it for a live. So guys, Sarge sent me a Lamar Fike thing. Now it looks interesting. So what I thought I would do is just play it. I haven't watched it, not even for a second. I've never seen it before. If it's no good, we're going to jump over to Facebook. I don't have time to do the topics I wanted to do today. I have created Attack of the Aliens Facebook post. I've sent it to Manny. He's going to turn it into a beautiful video, do his magic as Manny from Elvis Blue defending the King. Please subscribe to him. Pretty good. You know, it took me a while going back, forth. Eventually I got it to where I think I want it to be. So we've got the problem with the stalkers that are obsessed with me, and that pretend to be anti-defenders, but really they're just stalkers of Louis. They pretend to be anti-Donna, but they're not. They're just stalkers of Louis. They love talking about Louis. Hundreds of comments about Louis, which is, do you know what? It's a bit humorous. It's become a bit humorous now. I actually find it quite funny. Yeah, it's just part of my day-to-day life now that I do my lovely defending videos, which I'm very proud to do with Team Elvis. And then we have a little bit of a joke and a dig at the stalkers. It's become quite fun. I'm always interested in the newest stalking comments that are being hurled at me. I'm almost like godlike to them, aren't I? To the stalkers, I'm like, Louis, Louis, Louis. Is that what they do? So let's imagine this is Louis here. Here we go. Put him. Is it going to go there? There we are. Let me smooth it over. So this is Louis, yeah? Should you get a bit nearer? So to the stalkers, let's face it at the right angle. Louis, Louis, Louis. It's pretty crazy, isn't it, guys? Pretty cuckoo. Anyway, so we did a very long chat about the stalkers who are in love with Louis this morning. A really long dog walk. I quite enjoyed it. It was 70 minutes long. It's just a bit of fun, guys. Come on, we need to have fun with it, don't we? The whole stalker thing, can't we just have fun with it? Which is what I like to do. I got some good scripts coming up. Wizard of the Oz, and we've got the George Michael cruising in New York one with Kenny Everett dressed in leather, which is obviously going to be Kangaroo Boy. The Wizard of the Oz one, we know who that's going to be, and oh, the Humpty Dumpty. I'll just surprise you all with that one. Right. Anyway, there was something I did before I played this video. There was something about one of the stalkers have come out of the woodwork, crawled out from under her rock. One of the Facebook researchers, the leader of the Facebook researchers, has decided to get brave and give her side of things. Just my advice to you is, you know, you're one of my stalkers, and which okay, but I would say just go and write a book. You know, stop repeatedly saying you're gonna do it. Just do it. That's my advice. And we'll start a YouTube channel. Stop piggybacking off someone else. Start a YouTube channel. Have a voice. Try publicly defending Elvis properly. You know. You know, so write a book or do a YouTube channel, you know, something like that, and then crawl back underneath your rock. If you want to stalk me, it's okay. Stalking Louis is free of charge. Yeah. So eventually, you know, you plucked up the courage to join Kangaroo Boy and stalk me with all the rest of them. But I think the one who worships me the most is probably Kangaroo Boy. But I don't know. Troll Lady comes close. Bingo, nah. Bingo Boy, yeah. Humpty Dumpty, yeah. Right, okay, guys. Let's just press play. I'll carry on getting hero worshipped by the stalkers to the stalkers. Right, let's press play and see what happens.
Tillbringa en sommardag i Nedervetil tillsammans med Lamar Fike som är medlem i Memphis-maffian och som stor del.
So obviously, I knew that this was in foreign language, but let's see. This was sent to me by Sarge. Sarge is great, a great guy. Team Elvis, I love Sarge. He's very supportive. Let's see what happens.
Elvis nära. Redaktör är Tom Backmansson. Saamme nyt viettää kesäpäivän Lamar Fiken seurassa. Tämä ohjelma on tekstitetty suomeksi. Teksti teemme sivulla 756.
So I don't know what's going to be said. I'm not sure about copyright. So I have never watched this. So that's not Marty Lacker, is it? So of course I'm going to have to move Louis and get the book out. Now I have some other Lamar Fike stuff here, yeah, but I'm going to be straight with you. Billy Smith, Lamar Fike, Marty Lacker all said disgusting things about Elvis in this book. There are also good things. I want to be fair. And I've seen quite a few disgusting interviews that Lamar Fike was in and said some disgusting things about poor Elvis. Shared his private details, probably not true. Shared his sexual details and his prescription medication, private health struggles for money, for cash. I have been told that every time Lamar Fike got desperate for money, he would invent some more stories to get another payday. He was always looking for the payday. Now remember, I'm here to defend Elvis, stand up for Elvis. Yeah. Now everything I say is not a fact, just an opinion sharing discussion on YouTube. Nothing I say is fact. But I'll be honest with you, Lamar Fike, to me, has said the most disgusting things about poor Elvis in many different ways, including tabloids, magazines, and many other ways. Yeah. So it's shocking because he knew Elvis, as far as I know, before Elvis got famous. He was friends with or just before. You put it in the comments. I'm no researcher, I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure he knew Elvis around 53, 54. Was it 54? I think he became friends with Gladys and Vernon. Yeah. I'm just trying to remember. Didn't he get a bit into music producing or something? I don't know. You tell me about Lamar Fike. I am not an expert. Tell me when Lamar Fike met Elvis. I'd like to know. You educate me, okay? So here goes. All right, I can see the other person now. It's definitely not Marty Lacker.
Yeah, it really is.
Now, like I said, he was plagued with health problems, I was told, which is not a surprise. And he used Elvis's name and the fact that he once knew Elvis to keep having a payday, fistful of dollars at the expense of Elvis. And I heard many of these people, to get a payday, Memphis Mafia people, would bring up and invent stories or share Elvis's private details he would never want shared for a payday. It's disgusting.
I ordered this one especially for you.
God, you got some good neighbors.
Yeah. Had a good connection.
Absolutely.
Where's my money go? Well, I said shake, rattle and roll. I said shake.
Our neighbor.
I tell you what, this coffee is so nice, guys. Butter coffee.
He taught me how to drive a bicycle. I mean, a motorbike. I remember.
Your neighbor here?
Right, a Russian bike called Mokba.
Really?
So, is he talking about Elvis? I don't know who this person is. Let's.
Education started. This is where I went to school.
I went to a school about like this, you know.
Oh,
They
did
sure
you?
were. They sure was glad when I left, though, you know.
So I don't know where they are. I've no idea.
I assume it was a bigger school than this.
No, not really.
I repeat, I've never watched this.
When I lived in a little town like Cleveland, Mississippi, maybe the size of Coca-Cola, and about the size. It was 1954. I had met Elvis, and
954. So I was good. I was good. Okay.
I would go back and forth to. I met him in Memphis first, and then my father died in '54, and so we got to know each other. And I moved to a town called Waco, Texas, and
See, I personally find that shocking because a friend who knew Elvis, you know, just as he was about to get some fame, or you know, start doing a bit of sort of tours around where he lived. So he was there right at the start. Goes on to trash and double cross and backstab poor Elvis.
it was in '55. No, I moved. Excuse me, Jacksonville, Texas, and I was a disc jockey for about 6 months until I got real bored with that, and I put an LP
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So he was a disc jockey in Jacksonville, Texas. Did not know that.
on and blocked the station and left. Rattled him pretty bad. Then I went back to Waco, and he had started Jailhouse Rock, and we had, you know, of course, in '55, '56, we had talked back and forth, and I called him up, and he called back. He was in Cedars 11 Hospital. He had swallowed a cap off his tooth during rehearsal. Elvis
Yeah, I heard about this.
had a gap right here between his teeth, and so he had temporary caps for the front two teeth, and he swallowed them with the cap and went down.
Is that true? Yeah, I did hear about it. So are you telling me both of Elvis's front two teeth were caps? Could anyone confirm that?
And so I called him, and he said, you know, I said, are you okay? He said, well, I'm okay now. He said, if it had been in my throat, in my chest longer, it would have abscessed and whatever. He said, what are you doing? I said, really, I'm just bored to tears, you know. And he said, well, why don't you get in your car and come on up the Belvedere Washington, just drive on out here. So I said, you serious? He said, yeah. So I left the next day and drove to California and was with him ever since.
Right, let's hear that bit again. So is it because of Elvis? Did Elvis invite him? I just want to hear that little bit again.
And so he had temporary caps for the front two teeth, and he swallowed them with the cap and went down there. So I called him, and he said, you know, I said, are you okay? He said, well, I'm okay now. He said, if it had been in my throat, in my chest longer, it would have abscessed and whatever. He said, what are you doing? I said, really, I'm just.
So before he tells us, when I watch this, do you know what comes to my mind? How much are you getting paid? That's what I think. How much is that guy giving this man money to sit there on that swing and talk about Elvis? That's all that comes to mind.
Bored to tears, you know. And he said, well, why don't you get in your car and come on up the Belvedere Washington, just drive on out here. So I said, you serious? He said, yeah. So I left the next day and drove to California and was with him ever since.
So who is this gentleman, guys? I probably should know. You tell me. Put it in the comments, please.
He was blonde, too. His hair was blonde. Very few people.
I think we know that he had very fair hair, yeah? And isn't that Miss Sam's today has said there's some newly discovered pictures from around this time, yeah? 53, 54, yeah? So I want to find those. If anyone's got them, please send them to me or post them on our Defending Elvis Facebook page.
People know that. Dishwater blonde, they call it.
So just one more thing, guys. Donna has posted a brand new video and I'm going to review it maybe after this. Let's see how we go with this. If after this, I may stop it and then quickly review Donna's video. I've heard it's very serious and it is about, she's just posted it to me. Donna, thank you, Donna and Karen. I think it's called Elvis Told Us He Didn't Want to Marry. Elvis told us he didn't want to marry. Let me just see how long it is. 1 second. So I've only just received it. It's 10 minutes long. Oh, I'm going to do it. Right. Let me just see how long this is. I'll tell you what. let me just play a bit more of this. I want to go and do that. It's too important. But it's 30 minutes long. Let's do 10 minutes, and then we'll come back for a part 2 and 3. We'll do it in 10-minute slots.
You can see it in double trouble. When they-
Well, also you can see it when he was in the service because he didn't dye it because it was out in sun a lot and it really got whiter and whiter. When we were at Fort Hood, he was really blonde because he stayed out, field duty so much,
Could you imagine how handsome Elvis was with beautiful blonde hair?
So that was, that's things trivia really about him. But Elvis always dyed his hair because he never thought there were any great blonde stars. So
See, I heard that he wanted to look like Tony Curtis. That's what I heard. He loved the way Tony Curtis. I'm a massive fan of Tony Curtis. I love Tony Curtis.
he thinks he thought that way, and that's he thought he was very image conscious, very much so.
Well, it would be, wouldn't he? Come on. He wants to be. Elvis wants to be successful, wants to be famous, wants to be a singing star, wants to be in movies. So I get it, being image conscious. All right, let me just go. I can't play that music right on. I'll just get copyrighted, guys.
You want the American way? You don't want
No, it's not, Wes. No. I just want to taste it. It's good. Carl, does it have alcohol in it? Does it?
Right, I need to jump over the music. Hang on, let's keep going.
I literally like it, and we got along real well. And that what we got along originally as, being two friends, continued all through our lives. We would argue.
See, when he says that, we were friends and it continued through our lives. Why double cross him and why share his private life, his private details? Why backstab him for money? Why the trash books and tabloids and magazines and interviews? Why? Let's see what he's going to say.
Get in fights, I always told him what I thought. He didn't like it. But whenever he would do something wrong, he would talk to everybody, and they would all tell him he did it right. He said, God, I got to go talk to Lamar now. So he had to come over and talk to me. And I just...
Is that true? Is that true? Sometimes I think these people just make it up. It could be true, but he's just said Elvis only would come to me to hear the truth. Is it true? This is the problem. You've got people like Billy Stanley. They try and make themselves more important than they are. Is Lamar Fike just trying to make himself out to be the chosen one, the more important one?
Unload on him. He fired me in probably 23 years 100 times, and I quit about 150. But he'd always get me back. But I just always, I always told him the truth. I never kissed his ass, as we say.
Is that true? The whole he fired him loads of times? Maybe, I don't know. He's using my word. Kissed his ass. You've obviously been watching me.
I always kind of told him like it was. And he respected that.
What kind of truth?
Well, I mean, if he did a bad show, people have, see, a star of his magnitude, people have a tendency to say you can't do anything wrong. Well, he can't. He did a bad show. I tell him it's the worst show I've ever seen in my life. Since you tell me what's bad, so I'll tell you it's bad. One night he did a show, it was 45 minutes long, he should have done an hour and a half.
I can't even imagine Elvis doing a bad show. Yeah, he did a 45-minute show. He did an hour and a half. Should have done half.
He was screwing around on stage, and he came off stage, and everybody told him it's a great show and everything. He walked up to me and I said, I'm going to tell you something. I said, you have no right to do what you did. He said, what are you talking about? I said, you have no right to misuse your talent and to abuse that crowd out there. I said, you are wrong. You're wrong doing that. And I said, God forbid that you should have to pay a price for that.
What? What a disgusting thing to say. I'm going to have to play that again. I'm sorry. Come on. See, these people, they expose themselves with their own words. Yeah, these traitors, these double-crossers. Come on, guys. Let's hear him boasting about how he told off Elvis. He said he abused his talent and he mistreated the crowd. Ugh. Remember, I've never watched this.
An hour and a half. He was screwing around on stage. I tell him it's the worst show I've ever seen in my life. Since you tell me what's bad, I said, I'll tell you it's bad. One night he did a show, it was 45 minutes long, he should have done an hour and a half. He was screwing around on stage, and he came off stage, and everybody told him it's a great show and everything. He walked up to me and I said, I'm going to tell you something. I said, you have no right to do what you did. He said, what are you talking about? I said, you have no right to misuse your talent and to abuse that crowd out there. I said, you are wrong. You're wrong doing that. And I said, God forbid that you should have to pay a price for that.
How dare you speak to Elvis like that? Honestly, how dare you speak to Elvis like that? Elvis never abused his talent. Trust me. He's talking about the mid-50s. Yeah, well, obviously, and after. But, God, I told you, these people, they expose themselves with their own words. Let's keep going.
So he goes and does the second show, did an hour and a half, one of the best shows I've ever seen. He got through, he said, now, damn it, how was that? I said, you didn't have to do it for me. You know, I mean, he just didn't believe.
You'd have to do it for me. Do you see that? The self-importance. I keep getting this from all of the people that were near Elvis, like they were more important. Elvis did things for them. Elvis, like he just did an hour and a half for Lamar Fike. No, he did it for the crowds, for the fans, for himself. He was sharing his God-given talent, and oh, you didn't have to do it for me. I've heard this from the Smiths and the Stanleys. Yeah, I've even heard it from Priscilla. It was, you know, like they are the center from the Stanleys. Yeah, Elvis sang a song and it was for me. I heard Billy Stanley say it the other day. It's like, what are these people are so full of self-importance.
You know, you have a tendency to believe you can walk on water when you're a star of this magnitude, you know, and I just wouldn't let him off the hook, you know, I wouldn't. And he was
You wouldn't let Elvis off the hook.
the same way with me, you know, so, you know, I was the only one in the group that could get away with what I got away with. Everybody else had.
Still do it. Do you know what? Nearly every sentence he says is making himself important. Look at me. I did this. Me. Surely you guys watching this show can see through that.
Tread around him, and I just had that sort of rapport that I just said what was on my mind. In fact, he told the rest of the guys that just leave Lamar alone. Don't antagonize him because he'll make everybody's life uncomfortable.
Do you know what? Let's start listening to the sentences. So far, every sentence, he's bigging himself up. Elvis said this, Elvis said that. Leave Lamar alone. Elvis played a whole hour and a half for me. Elvis only came to me, you know, if he wanted to hear the truth. I was the only one that had the guts to stand up to Elvis. It's constant. Let's listen to the next. But this time we'll look for it.
And he said, just leave him alone and let him do what he wants to do. He said, because you get him mad, and we're all going to pay the price. So that.
Does anyone believe that Elvis said, if you don't leave Lamar Fike alone, we're all going to pay the price? Does anyone think for a second anyone was intimidated by Lamar Fike, that Elvis was intimidated by Lamar Fike? What a complete crock.
Was what we had. And so, you know, it lasted to the day he died. You know.
Rubbish. I don't believe any of that. I dispute all of it, even though I'm just a fan and I wasn't there.
I was always very, very heavy, and it was a situation of where I had what they call an intestinal bypass. I weighed 400 pounds, and this was in.
I didn't know he had that. Yeah, so he's had an intestinal bypass. Okay, let's keep going.
1970. I had it in 76, and that's where they.
So not long before Elvis passed. Okay.
Shorten the loop to your intestines, so and you just really, I mean, I dropped from 400 to 165 and carried it for about 5 years. But anyway, he was getting
obviously hasn't worked.
very heavy, and you know he always used to get mad at me and call me the lard ass or something. So he was sitting in the back of the airplane. We had come off of a tour in North Carolina and everywhere like this. In fact, before he gave me the rings in North Carolina. But anyway,
Beautiful ring.
he was standing in his bedroom in the back of the plane. I walked up and I said, look, it's time to go, lard ass. You know. He said, you know something, after 23 years you deserve that. He said, I'm gonna let you off the hook on that. I said, well, okay. So things like that.
Did it happen? Did it happen? We don't know, do we? I can't play the music. Oh, Elvis looks so good. All right, hang on. Sorry guys, I can't play the music.
Country in that route, you know. I mean, we were over there when they had this big blow up with the Cold War in Russia, and they started putting the whole 3rd Armored Division on tank cars and flatbed cars and moving them to Berlin. And Elvis said, what are you going to do? I said, I know what you're going to do, and I know what I'm going to do. I said, I'll see you in Nashville or Memphis. He said, but I've got to go fight. I said, life's tough. But they didn't do it. But he said, oh, it really depends on you. I said, the hell, you think I'm going to take a rifle and go shoot at him? It's your problem, not mine. He still laughed about that. You know, but I mean, he didn't like it. You know, he was ready to get out. When he got out, he was ready to get out. That's enough. You know.
Okay, I think we can leave it there. He's about to go into a different phase where he talks about Elvis getting out of the army in 1960, I'm pretty sure. I'll be honest with you, I didn't like any of that. I thought it was, I'm very disappointed. I think Elvis deserves better than the way that Lamar Fike portrays him up until this point. We've been on for 25 minutes. there's a lot more to be played. So we are 10 minutes in. There's another 20 minutes to go. Thank you to Sarge. I need to quickly jump over and do Donna's review. And then I'm going to post this later. Okay. So this is part 1. Okay. Obviously, I had a little chat in the beginning about the stalkers. But I just don't understand it. It's almost like Elvis was really good to these people. Yeah. And gave them a dream life, a dream existence, allowed them into his world. Yeah. Because he liked them. It's obvious Elvis would have liked Lamar Fike. We know that they used to banter, and we've all seen the water throwing footage and stuff like that. I do have other Lamar Fike stuff. I'm not happy with how Lamar Fike talks about Elvis, but I also accept he also said good things as well. Yeah. I don't doubt that Lamar loved Elvis and Elvis loved Lamar. I've always thought that the people that trashed Elvis did love him, but then they didn't show their love with their trashy comments. But of course, a lot of the stuff that they've shared with the public about Elvis's life, behind the scenes, there's some good stories as well. I accept that. Even All the King's Men has some good stories, but it also has the trashy, disgusting stories as well, whether it be about girls or Priscilla or drugs or prescription medication, whatever it is, Elvis's temper, whatever. Yeah. I really feel that they really tried to humanize Elvis, but in quite a nasty way, in a way where that is embarrassing for Elvis, in a way that would have been embarrassing, almost humiliating in front of Lisa Marie Presley. Lisa Marie 100% felt that these people were taking away Elvis's dignity with the disgusting way they spoke about him. But it's always been the same. Good stuff, bad stuff. Good stuff, bad stuff. So I didn't like that. I found the whole thing very disappointing. Elvis deserves better. So I'm very interested to know if it improves. What I would like Lamar Fike to do, obviously he's not with us. I think his family still represent him, don't they? I see it how it is, if he's going to discuss Elvis in such a negative way, I'm going to respond in a negative way, defending Elvis. So thanks, guys. I will be back.